Welcome back to, I guess, part 2, part 3, part 4, continuing story of repurposing, recycling. This is my friend Catherine Kearns. I'm Dunn from our view. And one of the things that I went to Catherine's house, it's been a few months ago, and she took me through her house, and each thing in her house inspired me, and I could actually cry because it changed my whole trajectory of the way I live my life. I went through a whole purging because I realized I loved how just streamlined everything was, but each piece of furniture you have, each thing that you had in there had a story. Mm-hmm. And it had a meaning, and it had been resourced from either ethically resourced, or it had been, recycled, repurposed. It was, and I loved that. And I loved that you were utilizing everything that you had in your house from good sources. And also Catherine quilts because Catherine's cool. And I don't have I don't have a hidden talent. What you see is what you get. So there's not a talent. There's just, I talk. But right after I had gone to Catherine's, it was my birthday, and my mom sent me for my birthday my great-grandmother's quilt. That quilt is over 100 years old. It sits above my desk, and it, as Marie Kondo says, and Catherine, it sparks joy. I love the vibrance of it. I love the color of it. And also I love that each time I sit at my desk, it literally makes me mindful of the work that went into it, what it took to source that, because we just have fabric laying around all the time. Yeah. We can get it anywhere. Like literally, there was hard work put into it. There was mindfulness put into it. And so if we can't purchase something, that obviously is reused. But if we can't purchase something on a thrift or reused, we were just discussing that it matters where it comes from. So tell us, maybe, I don't know if we should not name companies, but just tell us about how you do that, like how you purchase things, the things that you purchase new, where do you purchase them from?
And I will say, I am not perfect at this, but I really try to be mindful of where my things come from and where do they go when I'm done with them. So I try to buy secondhand whenever I can. And if I am patient, I'm not super patient. I want something yesterday. I don't want it to wait for it. But usually if I put it out there, I can find what I need secondhand fairly easily. In Ames, we have so many places we can shop. We're very fortunate. But if I'm going to, I think it's a good thing to be intentional about buying something new of quality that is long lasting. So, we all love Target. We all love trendy things, and it's fun. But at the end of the day, that stuff is not made to hold up, and it's actually not very cost effective because you're not going to get a lot of use per wear or whatever out of it. So I just mentioned that Patagonia is a really good company to buy for, and they invest a lot in helping the environment. Plus their products are super good quality. They're very sustainable and very traceable where they get all their materials, where they're produced. They're invested in the future, and I think that that's important. And they're not just invested in a profit right now, they're invested in what our world looks like in the future.
And you've had your coat for how many years?
I've had my dual layer coat, my Rain H2O No coat for over 10 years, and I literally wear it all year round. And
if I saw it on the streets, I would know that she was dead because I could recognize her by that coat. Literally, it's the Catherine signature coat.
It's my coat, and I love it. But they also have a great recycling program where they're having you can trade in your old Patagonia gear and get credit. So that's a good program to look into. But regardless, just really think about how if it's cheap in a store, there's a cost somewhere else. Mm. There's a cost somewhere else, and a lot of things are made overseas in really bad conditions. And so if it costs $5 at the store, it's not costing me money, but it's costing somebody quality of life somewhere else. So I think just becoming more aware of that too, and what systems I support is really important.
Well, yeah. I was just sitting here thinking that 10, 11 years ago, whenever I started working for Young Living, before I would even become a member, I contacted them and I went through source after source after source to find out whether our farms were equitable. Yeah. I wanted to know it was fair
Yeah.
that they were getting fair wages, that it was fair trade. Sourcing things from were fair.
Yeah.
And that those families, because our farms are all over the world, that those families had just as much opportunity as we do from what they're giving us. And so, like, literally, our products cost a lot more than most essential oils.
You're voting with your dollar, and you're voting for equality of the world.
Yeah.
Like, that is huge. And we've got to start, and that's really hard for the American mindset, because we've been trained that we want the cheapest thing and the triple coupon, and we've got to break that and go, I would rather have something special that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
You know,
Young Living's oils are more expensive than probably any other in the U.S. for sure, but also where they're sourced from and how they're sourced is more equitable and fair than anywhere else. And so, like, the way that we think.
Yeah, but I'd also like to say that when you buy one bottle of Young Living Thieves,
it lasts a long time.
There's no way it replaces 30 bottles. Mm-hmm. Like, do the math, people. Like this, like I just think
so.
It's not only costing. Like
there's a lot of waste we were discussing earlier. There's a lot of waste that goes into, like, just everyday supplies. We talked about school supplies. So talk to us about that. And I was asking Catherine, so tell us about. We have denim jeans that are worn out, and by all means, people donate. To thrift stores, but don't donate stuff that you wouldn't yourself use. Yeah. If it's not, if they're having to work hard to get it out, to weed through all your crap because it's actually crap, then don't donate it.
If it's dead, don't donate it, because that is taking time. And I mean, nobody wants to go through that stuff. Did you want to go through your stuff that's dead? I don't want to go through my stuff.
So what do we do with our dead stuff?
So, I don't know. I think it's always good to try to think outside the box of how else could things be used. Like, you were talking about denim jeans, and we all have different skills. We all have different, I can sew, not super well. I'm just saying that. But, I have a bin of, like, dead clothes from, like, bathrobes or t-shirts or stuff that we have just worn out, that, in theory, I could get, like, maybe an old pillowcase would even work well to shove some of that stuff into stuffing and use it for, like, a pillow at an animal shelter or a dog bed for one of your dogs or something like that. It can have a life before it ends up at the landfill. So how can I use this one more time before it ends up going in the garbage? So, for instance, I do use clover leaf dairy, which I love because it's a local Iowa. They use glass. Yes, it's glass. You have to be careful. Get over it. It's not a big deal. I have 2 kids. I broke one time in the store because I had that flap thing in the front of the cart. It was up, and the thing slid out, and it broke on the floor. But that's the only time that's ever happened. Anyway, it does have a cap that comes on it. So, in theory, what I've been doing is taking the caps, cleaning them, and then our school, pre-quarantine, and hopefully we'll get back to this, has the maker space. And so I have a bag of these caps that I thought, those would be good for the makerspace. Like, the kids can create something. They could create, like, a mural at this point with all my milk bottle caps. But like, there's things like that you can use. Or we were talking about, my biggest nemesis is the berry containers, and trying to find, like, local gardeners. But like, in theory, you could give them to gardeners to put their cherry tomatoes in or their products in, to sell or hand out to family members. So that way it's not going straight into the garbage.
Social media could be used in this so well, because that kind of thing, we were talking to another friend just recently about that, the berries. We can go on social media and say, can anyone use this?
Yeah, the Recycle, Repurpose page and stuff.
Right, but even just on our own page. I've gone on there and said, hey, I have this, can anyone use it? Recently, I had someone come and pick up all of our metal. They actually sell it. We had stuff that had gotten destroyed. Like, we live on a small farm, and so we had some metal bins and stuff that had gotten destroyed, and we didn't want to just toss it. We didn't know what to do. But people actually make their living on...
Let them do it. If they want to do it, they came and got it and repurposed it for you. So it's just, putting stuff out there. Most of the time, it's amazing how you kind of fill the need for somebody else by just putting it out there.
Yeah.
It's not a burden to do that. You're actually helping people.
But you've made me think about all of these things. You've made me think about the way that I decorate my house, the things that I look at, the things that I use, the things that I
Your house doesn't look like a storeroom or a showroom. It looks like Deanna Dunn's house, which is how your house should feel. It should represent you, right?
It should. It should.
It's not matchy. You don't want matchy. No. Matchy is not cozy in my mind, actually.
I walked in your house and I felt at home. It did. The whole house told a story. Our house tells a story. I accidentally started collecting wise men and women a few years ago. I don't even know how. I do not collect nativities. I just take the wise people out of them. And so it's kind of been a fun thrift thing that every single thrift store I go to, one of the very first things I look for is.
I love that. I also notice your geodes, which I love those too.
Yeah,
I love that. So like those things make me happy visiting your house because those things are just.
So if you come to my house, you will see old quilts.
Yeah.
You will see geodes. And you will see wise people. What do we see at your house, Catherine? Tell us. That's fun.
I don't even know.
Pottery. She loves
pottery. I do like pottery.
And she gave me a love for pottery.
Yeah. Pottery.
I kind of want to be Catherine when I grow up.
Functional pottery. Not pottery that's like fussy.
No, but you use it.
I use it, for sure. So, I don't know.
And you can find gorgeous pottery at thrift stores, y'all.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can find.
And you could probably use them for a lot of your oil things and your Young Living products too. You just put it in a piece of pottery and it just makes you so happy. And
think different. When we know better, we do better. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.